I'm Ron Grid with the Junior Supermoto 140. We're going to have a quick chat with Lissy Whitmore. Lissy, this has been your first season racing.
Yeah.
How have you enjoyed it?
It's been a really good season, been really fun, enjoyed it as a first season. The race has been really exciting and people have been really helpful to get me right up there.
Well done for this year. Glad you really enjoyed it. Enjoy your racing tonight. Cheers.
So here we go with Junior SM140, where we've got a great battle in store between Ash Barnes and Ryan Frost, two of the heavy hitters on the front row of the grid. Chase Collymore in third, right on there as well. So we've got all the big names out there at the front. Chloe Jones, who we saw earlier on, of course, in the Mini GP, she's fourth. All the big hitters out there as well. And so we've got, looks like Corey Tinker just behind there as well. All the big names then in the junior side of British mini bikes, they're all at the front of the grid, all qualified well. These first few corners are going to be vital as the flag drops and Ryan Frost gets an absolutely incredible getaway. It was like traction control on that bike. He absolutely timed that to perfection. He's already got the jump on the field.
Problems for Harvey Smith off the line. Difficulties getting the bike going.
Trying to bump start that machine as Ryan Frost jumps away from the rest of the field. There's looks like Barnes in second, Collymore, Chloe Jones. Now that was a textbook start for Ryan Frost. He anticipated the flag perfectly and he couldn't get better than that. He's already about, I'd estimate, of course I haven't gone through the timing screens yet, but about 1.5 seconds on that first few corners.
Yeah, I'd say so. Very impressive start there from Ryan, and they're coming around to finish the first lap of the race and will be able to confirm the order. Harvey Smith has now got his bike underway, good to see. So no stationary bikes for them to worry about as they come round to finish the first lap. Right. And it is Ryan Frost ahead of Ash Barnes and Chase Collymore at the moment. Chloe Jones as well, running well in fourth. Saw her take the win earlier today in the Mini GP, as you said, Chris, and she's currently actually all over the back of Chase Collymore's bike there. We can see here into Inkerman's. In fact, she's got the job done.
Just a good move there from Chloe Jones.
Yeah, very good move actually.
Nice to take a pass there, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it is. You know, it is a deceleration event, so it's an opportunity. Gosh, you can tell. Can you tell I'm an work as an engineer? That was very jargony. It is a braking zone, so you can get an opportunity there. But absolutely textbook manoeuvre there from Jones, and she'll now set about catching up to the likes of Ash Barnes and indeed our leader Ryan Frost. In fact, on that subject, Ash Barnes has just set the fastest lap of the race, albeit it's quite early on, so we need to keep an eye out here for the gap, because whilst Ryan Frost may have got a fantastic getaway at the start, he is by no means out of the woods yet with regards to taking the win here.
Definitely not, and a lot of syllables there for motorbike commentating, deacceleration.
Yes, I know.
Here we go then. So Ash Barnes, like you say, he's breaking away now from this battle for third place and is starting to close up on Ryan Frost. He definitely reeling him in there around the last few corners. There's Barnes in second place. We will see what the timing screen says when he goes through. 1 second, well 1.076 to be precise, and Ash Barnes with another fastest lap of the race. There's still a long way to go in this race as well, because Barnes ever so slightly closing up there. We see him coming into Christmas Corner. A little bit of grass there on the apex, so the riders have to be careful of that one. I think maybe one of those riders that went down earlier, possibly bringing some debris onto the track. But Barnes negotiating that perfectly fine. Chloe Jones in third, Chase Collymore, Corey Tinker, George Hopper just a little bit further behind in seventh place. Ben Watson, Jack Bell and Zach Shelton rounding up the top 10. But Ash Barnes, when the camera pans away now, you'll see just how close he is.
I was going to say, yeah, he's visually going down this gap here. So Ryan Frost, as Barnes sets another fastest lap of the race, 45.4, a good 3-4 as we've got rider down, a couple of riders off at Christmas Corner.
So we'll keep an eye on the marshals.
That's not
one rider still down.
What we like to see. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll wait to see whether race direction opts to do anything with this.
Red flag's been shown.
Yeah, understandable.
So I think that rider is still down on the floor. 6 laps remaining. So here we go. Looks like we're about ready to go for the restart. This will be a dash to the finish then for the SM 140, flag goes up, and Ryan Frost with another, oh, he was about to say lightning getaway, but he looped out slightly. What? Chase Collymore, though, out of nowhere on third, nips down the inside of Ash Barnes, but can't make the pass stick. Ash Barnes holds on to that second place. Ryan Frost, he almost had a perfect getaway, but the front end looped out on him slightly, and Ash Barnes is on him as they go into Christmas corner.
Yeah, it was difficult for Frost, of course, because we spoke about this earlier in the day when we had our previous red flag. Difficult for the leader, you know, you were leading this race and now you've got to do it all over again, and indeed, I'm sure if he'll have looked over his shoulder, he'll have known that the gap was going down before that red flag came out. So psychologically, this is a difficult one for Frost.
Very much so, and of course for Ash Barnes, whilst he would never want to profit from somebody else's accident, he has effectively put a reset button on the race. He was closing up on Ryan Frost, but of course with the stoppage, starting on the same pace, and now he is only just behind, I'd say about 0.7 of a second behind in second place as the rest of the field go charging through.
And timing showing this as being 4 laps left, so this really is a sprint to the finish, and the field is all closed up for it.
Ash Barnes is really closing up on Ryan Frost, but it's the old adage of motorsport. Catching up is one thing, getting past can be quite another, so let's see what Ash Barnes can do. He's got just under 4 laps to get through. He looks like he's sussing out Ryan Frost at the moment. I think Ryan Frost made a small mistake in the boot there, just clipped the apex, but recovering well. And Barnes just on his tail in second place now, fastest lap of the race.
Absolutely, and that's important as well. Barnes has got straight back on it and set the fastest lap immediately. And don't forget, of course, Chloe Jones in third place, who's ready, as you say. Nobody hopes to profit from things coming to tears, but should this battle go that way, Chloe Jones running strongly there in third place, you wouldn't want to bet against to getting another win.
Quite right, 2.3 seconds down in third, so certainly if these two start blocking each other up a bit, and I noticed Ryan Frost was checking the shoulder going into Christmas corner, so he knows that Ash Barnes is there, and one would say that's a good psychological boost for Barnes in second. He knows he's putting in the pressure on, he's got Ryan Frost looking.
We look further back as well. This, I believe, is the battle for further down, 6th place, isn't it? Because this is Chase Collymore, Corey Tinker and Ben Watson. So good battles happening on further down in the top 10. The first and second places in this race as they were on this lap, but the gap is not getting any bigger, much to Ryan Frost's disappointment, I'm sure.
You see Collymore checking his shoulder coming out of the second corner with that defensive line going into Christmas corner. Very difficult to make the pass when you block the middle of the circuit like that, but it can slow you down sometimes because it's not the ideal entry in terms of speed. And here we cut back to Ryan Frost, the race leader. Ash Barnes, though, right on his wheel in second place, but running out of time. The last lap board going out.
Yep, so here we go, on to the last lap. Can Barnes make the move that he's been thinking about making pretty much all race here on Ryan Frost? Frost has led this race from the flag twice, which you can't say that often, but could it all fall apart here in the dying moments? We know that Frost has had a very successful season, so he's not going to be an easy pass for Barnes, but Barnes has got the pace. They come through Inkermans into Zulus for the last time this race. The left, right, left. Frost using the curb well there. Barnes is pretty much going to have one last opportunity here through the boot into the left-hander.
Doesn't come off through the boot, and Ryan Frost notably setting the fastest lap previous time round, so that could be crucial. One last go for Barnes, but he's not going to make it. Round the outside he goes, one last go to the line, and Ryan Frost punches the air as he crosses the line by just 0.2 of a second. Ash Barnes throwing the kitchen sink at Ryan Frost in that final lap, but it wasn't enough. Chloe Jones will finish third. Fantastic sprint to the finish there.
Very much mistaken. It's Ash Barnes and Ryan Frost on the front row. Now we've seen earlier on in the day Ash Barnes really pushing to try and overtake Ryan Frost for one of the race wins today. So this could be an interesting one to watch.
Still running the tinted visor, noticed on the front of the grid with the light fading. It's a bit of a tricky time to be running a tinted visor, I'd say.
Difficult call to make because in many ways it's the time you most want the tinted visor, but immediately after the sun's gone down is when you don't want it.
You'll see that when the cameras goes away in a minute, the top half of the track has that very low sun where the low sun shining straight into the riders as Ryan Frost makes a perfect getaway.
Yeah, great start for Ryan Frost there. I could see that on screen. So Frost it is who's going to lead them up the hill towards Christmas corner for the first time, and indeed he's got a bit of a breathing space, but they go 3 wide for third place here. But it looks like we saw the 25 involved in that. Just wait for lifetime to catch up with what we're seeing, but Ryan Frost it is who definitely has made the ideal start here, and Ash Barnes has been able to, I say retain second, actually. He was our pole sitter, so he's dropped down to second place, but resuming the battle that we saw early on today then in a previous race, because now Ash Barnes is going to set about trying to close the gap to Ryan Frost. So Ryan Frost it is, sorry Chris, who leads him across the line ahead of Ash Barnes, George Hopper, Chloe Jones, Chase Callimore, Corey Tinker, Ben Watson, Jack Bell and Zach Shelton and Lissy Whitmore round out the top 10.
Chase Collymore having a look down the inside of Chloe Jones very briefly there. I think Jones has held on. Well, there he is. Chase Collymore and Ryan Frost with that fantastic start. It's interesting to see, you'll see on the pictures here just how the light changes with the riders. Now I'm looking out to see, it's going to be close, we might just get away without the floodlights almost. I think they may put them on for the last race or so, but the problem is, of course, we've got half the track in relatively shaded for these riders with the tinted visors, and then the extreme low light as well. So a bit of a contrast to the riders, something they've got to deal with. Chloe Jones has battled through to third, but you can't really say that one's over because George Hopper, Chase Collymore and Corey Tinker are right on their tail. I think the time might be appropriate now to bring in Joanne as well, I think.
Yeah, completely. I agree. We've been joined by our guest rider of the day, so I'll hand you over. I'll hand this one over to Matt.
Sorry to interrupt the Junior Super Motor 140 race, but we literally grabbed Joanna as she was running through the paddock in between her multitude of races today. How have you got on?
It's just been amazing. I mean, I have my most exciting race ahead of me still, where I'm actually 18th on the grid, but everything else is just so far been absolutely amazing. I'm having so much fun and everyone is really, really pleasant. I keep getting people come to me and apologize for overtakes that were dodgy, which I actually didn't even notice. So that it's such a friendly bunch of people. I cannot believe you can have this much fun racing for such small amount of money.
And all on live stream.
And it's live stream. It's amazing. I'm glad I haven't had any ups yet, because that would be like all publicized immediately. Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for coming down. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and good luck for your last race.
Thank you so much for having me, and I believe I'm also booked now for next season to race.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I'll be back. I've kind of put a pit crew together in the meantime as well. So we have a mechanic, we have a bike ready, and I'm gonna be back next year. Yeah, thank you.
That's exactly what we like to hear, so thank you to Joanna. Glad to know that you've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, great stuff, and it's glad you had such a good day. Good luck for your last race, of course. And
yes, there is that still. Yeah. I have to say, on that note, I'm massively impressed by what Chloe Jones is doing out there right now, because she's won a championship. She's done.
That's it. Yeah.
She had the interview. She's come up to the bar, and she's managed to prepare herself to go out there again, and is racing really competitively, showing great stamina. It has to be said.
Problems there for 25.
Dear me, that might be. I hope I haven't been using Howard's fast-acting commentator's curse there.
Bit of an issue there, but pulling off into the pits.
She is indeed. Oh goodness me! Apologies there.
So yeah, classic comments. Poor old Chloe.
That was yes.
So Chloe Jones dropping out of the reckoning. There's something's happened with that machine. She's down in the pits, right straight back to the paddock, and looks like she is out. So not really the way to round off the season, but as you're saying though, been a fabulous, and she was on about, I think her mum thinks differently, wanted to race the CRF 150s next year. She's at that sort of age where the youth motocross riders will be picking up those 150s and starting racing those, so I think one to look out for in the 150s.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely going to be a talent to watch in the future. But
I like this. So to interrupt you, this shout out from Angus Kybird on his 6 till 6 shift.
Yep, that's fair enough. Glad we were able to bring some entertainment to the working day.
So here we go up towards the top corner. We have a shame having to work on a lovely Sunday, isn't it? But
it is. But I hope it doesn't look. I hope it doesn't look this nice. I hope you're not missing out on
on the weather. You might say.
I'm glad we were able to bring you, as I say, these picture postcard scenes from Whilton Mill.
It's I think it's a great venue to finish off the championship at Whilton Mill. It's central, everyone can get to it nice and easily. With the greatest respect to Row, which everyone loves, it's a, unless you happen to be in the north of England, it's a real mission to get there. It's a good 4.5 hour drive, although it is worth every single mile of that because it's such a fabulous track.
Yep.
This one's nice and central, everyone can get here. It's on the motorways as well, and it does lend itself well to a championship finale, I would say. It's plenty of good racing out there as well. And we look forward to going to Row and of course all of the tracks next year. Matt was talking about possibly some new venues as well. I think there's plenty of options out there, you would say, plenty of good tracks, karting tracks as well. This sport does tend to lend itself well to in this country. So hopefully we'll see some more new venues next year, and a return of course to the fabulous Whilton Mill.
Absolutely. We've been looking at the battle over third place pretty much for the last few moments on the stream. That's Chase Collymore, Corey Tinker and George Hopper. We refocus now on our leader.
That's Ryan Frost going through there.
There he is.
Looks like he's gone past one of the back markers, I believe.
Yeah, and he's actually got a fair old gap now on Ash Barnes. It's 2.1 seconds, which is comfortable enough by biking standards.
Now this is a nice part of the race, isn't it? When you're leading a race, you know they've got a bit of a cushion, and you can afford to ride your own race, basically use your own lines. You're not worrying about letting the door open for somebody. And Ryan Frosty's certainly making the most of it.
Yeah, this must be a really nice time for Ryan. You know, he's in the lead, sun streaming down, last race of the season, and provided all goes as it's gone so far,
now this
he's on for winning the last race and
one lap to go.
High. Sorry, yes, apologies, indeed, one lap to go.
So
I'm getting all I'm getting all misty-eyed in this race, aren't I?
Now this is a feeling that I'd like to get more often in racing, but yeah, when you're leading the race with a comfortable margin, you can ride your own race. It's really good. It's just not take it easy, but you're not under any real pressure. You just gotta. It's almost like a practice session, you might say, just looking at your own lines. He's got the time, of course, to pick his way through the slow riders. And that's Lissy Whitmore, who's, say, slower. She's in 9th place, has to be said, so she's still circulating around very well indeed in the top 10. But Ryan Frost is on his way back. Shout out here to Max Bartle, number 12, who was out before. And we'll look out for seeing for Max. So Ryan Frost coming round the final corner, and will take the checkered flag in the final junior SM140 race of the season. Now, will that be enough to secure the title we were going to look at? We're not going to say anything how it's... sorry,
we were just talking about how he's relaxed, enjoying his ride. That may actually have just changed the outcome of this championship.
George Hopper.
I say that very provisionally.
Yeah, very third in the...
Oh goodness me, I'm not sure my spreadsheet of wonder here has enough to do this, because as far as I can tell they are tied on points.